I always thought the countryside was quiet in a comforting way. The kind of quiet people escape to when they're tired of car horns and city chaos. But last year, when I spent a long weekend at my friend Ethan's farmhouse in Western Virginia, I learned that silence in the country can feel like something entirely different, something heavy, something watching. The first evening, everything seemed picture perfect. Gravel road leading up to a white farmhouse, golden light spilling across fields of corn and wild grass, kids chasing dogs in the yard. Ethan and his wife Amanda welcomed me with dinner, beers, and that warm, small-town hospitality you can't fake. Their little boy Caleb was running barefoot through the grass, his laugh carrying across the yard as the sun dropped behind the trees. It felt safe, too safe in hindsight. Later that night, while we sat on the porch drinking, Ethan mentioned something odd. He said, "If you get up during the night, don't go wandering past the fence line. We've had some trouble with strangers cutting through lately, folks who don't belong." He said it casually, but Amanda shot him a look. That look told me it wasn't just a throwaway warning. The first night passed without issue. I slept in the guest room, the window cracked open to let in a breeze. The cicadas were so loud it felt like they were inside the room, and I had to get used to just how dark the nights were out there. No glow from nearby houses, no street lights, just pitch black beyond the faint silver wash of the moon. But the second night, that's when it started. I woke up around 1:30 to a sound that didn't fit, crunching, slow, deliberate crunching on gravel. At first, I told myself it was a deer or maybe one of the dogs, but the dogs were inside, and these weren't random steps. They were paced, heavy, human. The hairs on my arm stood straight up. I stayed perfectly still, listening, and the footsteps circled the side of the house, then stopped, right beneath my window. My chest tightened. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The dogs lifted their heads, ears forward, growling so low it vibrated the floorboards. Whoever was out there just stood there. I could feel it. After what felt like forever, the sound started again. Crunch, 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 fading toward the tree line until it disappeared completely. The third night, the tension was unbearable. I felt wired, alert to every creak of the old farmhouse, every rustle of leaves outside, and sure enough, at 3 a.m., Amanda's scream jolted me upright. I ran to the hallway, and she was clutching Caleb, pointing out the window with wide, panicked eyes. There, at the edge of the fence line, was a figure. A man. He stood motionless, just inside the moonlight. No shirt, no shoes, just pale skin and broad shoulders, staring at the house. Ethan rushed to the window with the shotgun, but he didn't open it this time. He didn't even shout. He just stood there with his jaw clenched, the barrel trembling in his hands. The man never moved. Not closer, not farther. He just stood like he had all the time in the world. Minutes dragged on like hours. Then, without warning, Ethan pulled us all back from the window. His voice was a whisper. "We're not giving him what he wants." We shut every curtain, bolted every door, and sat in silence, the dogs pacing restlessly, growling at the walls. When daylight came, he was gone. No prints this time, no sign he'd ever been there at all. That was my last day there. I packed my bags and left before noon. Ethan never argued. He didn't try to convince me to stay. Amanda just hugged me tight, her hands cold, whispering, "Don't talk about this to anyone." Ethan still lives out there, but when I've called him since, he refuses to discuss that weekend. He'll change the subject, laugh it off, act like it never happened. Amanda doesn't pick up at all anymore. And me? I can't unsee it. That figure, that patience, the way he didn't try to break in, didn't try to harm us. He was just watching, waiting, like he knew he had time. That's what unsettles me most, because in the city, sometimes I'll wake up to footsteps on the pavement outside my apartment window, and I'll remember those nights. And I'll think, What if he wasn't out there by chance? What if he wasn't after Ethan's family at all? What if he was waiting for me to leave? Would you have stayed another night in that farmhouse, or would you have run?